Okay. Let's try to double tap it. I like that. Hey, what's going on, guys? Brandon here with Texas Plinking, and we got a pretty interesting one. This here is the all-new Springfield Armory St. Edge ATC, or Accurized Tactical Chassis. It is definitely different. It's got people so far saying two different things, at least on my Instagram. Some people say that is drop dead sexy, where can I get one? And some other people are saying, what the hell is even that? And if I'm being honest, the first time I laid eyes on it, through pictures anyway, I liked it, but in a way I thought it was so ugly that it was cool, the way an FN F2000 is. Now that I've seen it in person, actually broke it down functionally and used it, the ugliness that I had thought was a charm was actually kind of going away, and I just think it looks pretty darn sleek. I think just shooting it and running through the motions with it kind of does that, but I liked it initially just for a different reason. But what is it at its core and what's different about it? Well, we're gonna go ahead and break that down, but before we do, I wanna thank our video sponsor, and that is Groove Life. Particularly, I wanna talk about the Groove Life belt. This belt is pretty darn sweet, quick attach, quick detach, connected with neodymium magnets. That's a big word for a dyslexic to say, and I'm pretty sure I just nailed it. So very, very satisfying, click in and out of place, but pretty cool. It's also elastic enough, so it's very comfortable in all circumstances. It comes with several different color options, so check out, see what speaks for you. Next thing you're obviously wondering is, does it by chance have a 93-year warranty? And it does not. They beat it by a year. How about that? It's a 94-year warranty, so it's built to last. So that's Groove Life. Thanks to them for sponsoring this video. Also want to say a thanks to Silencer Shop, but more on them as we quiet things down when we start shooting. So back to the Springfield Armory St. Edge ATC. What the heck is it? All right, so at its core, St. Edge, it is an AR-15, it's part of the AR-15 lineup. Where things start to get different is when you start looking at the what would be handguard and lower receiver. From here, all the way through here, it is one piece rare earth material called aluminum. Wow! Well, they say it in the name, ATC, Accurized Tactical Chassis, so let's break that down in reverse. This really does behave more so like a chassis, so if you've ever assembled like a bolt action gun, you drop the barreled action into a stock or chassis. This acts like that, as you guys will see when I break it apart later. Tactical, sure, and then Accurized. So they really say by doing the chassis system rather than a traditional free-floated handguard and barrel, this is slightly more accurate. Is it more accurate, or is it just solving a problem that doesn't totally exist? I don't know, but even if it's slightly more accurate, long-range shooting is a thing of splitting hairs. So if it's incrementally more accurate, I don't know if a decent shooter like myself will even be able to tell the difference. But it's certainly a different approach, and for that, I'm definitely curious about it and want to see a little bit more about it. Speaking of doing little things that could just be splitting hairs, this has got the AccuTight Plus system. So there are 3 tiny little holes here, here, and another one by the inside the pistol grip. And when you loosen that with the included Allen key, that's when you can start field stripping this thing. So traditionally on an AR-15, you just punch these pins out. These things will not budge. This whole thing feels like it's welded on together. There's no play anywhere. Once you loosen up those 3 Allen keys, then you can slide this out, disassemble the upper part of the handguard, and then this thing could field strip. Let's talk about some hardware that you get though. So it does come with an 18-inch Ballistic Advantage barrel. This here is a 1-in-7 twist, chambered in 223 Wild. Now, in case you guys haven't heard of the 223 Wild chambering, it can safely shoot 5.56 and 223, so why not just make a 5.56? Supposedly, it's one of those splitting hair things, again, that it's more accurate for those premium match 223 chamberings, but it can also safely shoot 5.56. I'll just tell you, at the point of making this video, I've already shot this rifle, and the best that it's done was with some Federal 223, and the second best was with some IMI 5.56. So that's kind of interesting to point out, but we'll talk about that when we get into the performance. When you first pick this thing up, it's not lightweight, and you would think it's because of that bulky aluminum chassis. That's actually pretty lightweight. It's the thick barrel contour, so that barrel really is where all of the weight's at. Comes with a 20-round P-Mag, as well as a B5 stock and grip. Just depending on the model you get though, depends on the stock. So this here is the ATC Elite. The Elite gets you a more PRS style stock as opposed to the collapsible traditional looking one, but that's still a great stock. The standard one also has a flat trigger from Springfield Armory. The Elite has got the flat bow from Larue Tactical, the MBT-2S. 2.5 pounds for the first stage, 2 pounds to break after that. I love these triggers from Larue Tactical, so that's pretty cool. As well as lastly, the Elite gets this really cool Coyote Brown Cerakote. Talking about price point, the standard ATC starts at $1,550, $1,550. And then this Elite goes up another $350, so it's at $1,900. If you're basing it off the standard, it's not too bad. This stock itself is about $250, the trigger's about $90. Once you factor in shipping and tax, it's pretty much evened out, but you get a free Coyote Brown Cerakote, so it just depends on the model you want to run with. So let's talk about what I've done to mine real quickly. We'll start off with the charging handle actually. It came with the traditional mil-spec charging handle. Given the task this is gonna do, it's gonna be running an optic obviously, and when I do that, I'd rather have an ambidextrous. And so I put on the Radian Raptor. Good old Atlas QD bipod on there. This here is a Vortex Viper PST Gen 2. It's a 2-to-10 on an American Defense and Vortex combo mount. Out of the box, it did come with a really nice muzzle brake that was good at mitigating recoil with the ports on the side and on top. But I went ahead and put an OSS flash hider on there. That way I can run my suppressor. So I'm gonna be running the OSS HXQD 556 Ti, so it is titanium, so the weight is not bad at all. And as I said before, the suppressor is powered by Silencer Shop. I've gone through Silencer Shop for all of my suppressors. They make suppressor ownership a lot more simplified. If it wasn't for them, the shooting community would certainly be a lot louder. So thanks to them. So more than likely, there's a Silencer Shop kiosk not far from you, so you could get started on your process for the straight simplified road that Silencer Shop provides for suppressor ownership. But yeah, once you go suppressed, I promise you don't go back. So I hope this is one of the earlier videos shown with an ATC suppressed. For the most part, I think I summarized what this rifle is all about. But before we get to the performance and show the shooting, I want to field strip it just so you guys can see how that goes. So you get the included Allen key. Like I said, you loosen that right there. You don't have to take it all the way out. In fact, it's captive. So just loosen that. Then you pull down on this black tab and the top of the handguard actually slides forward. So once you do that, it really is like a bolt action gun, the way the barreled action comes off. But like I said, before you even do that, the small hole right above the mag well and in the pistol grip, you just loosen those. Again, you don't have to take them out, just loosen them. Then the AR pins that you're used to will slide out and then the entire upper will just pop out. Then you just reverse the process, pop that back in, pop your pins like you normally would on your AR, then tighten it. And then you can go ahead and slide the top of the handguard and then pull that pin down, click it into place, and then make sure it's tightened up with that small Allen key. Once you do that, this thing feels like it's welded on there, and so that's pretty darn cool. I like the system quite a bit. And in doing that, that's where I found out that the bulk of the weight really isn't in that big bulky chassis. That part's actually really lightweight. The aluminum is really tossable. It's really in that barrel from my experience so far. All right, so now the portion of the video that we all care about. Let's talk about the performance of this thing. Now, Springfield Armory themselves claims it is sub-MOA with match ammo and 3-round groups. In this video, we are going to do more than that. We're gonna do 5-round groups as well as 10-round groups. We're gonna do it at 100 yards and a little beyond 300 yards. Then we're just gonna shoot steel at 680 plus. Why not? First time I shot this gun was yesterday, just to get a sight in. Then I got carried away and did a lot of groupings. And I did that not on camera, but I did save the targets. So why don't I just show that real quickly. I'll walk you guys through the targets, what ammo I used. All right, so top left here is the first grouping I did. That was with the Federal 77 grain gold medal Sierra Match King. And that's annoying because a 5-round group and totaled up, it was 1.2 MOA. And that's including the cold bore flyer. The other 4 were right there. That's not too bad. Here's where things got kind of interesting. I tried the Hornady Black 75 grain Botel Hull Point, usually a pretty decent round, and that just went everywhere. That was 4.3. So where it gets really weird is that exact same round did that with a suppressor on. So I threw the OSS on there and all of a sudden it became 1 MOA exactly. So that's a 1-inch 5-round group. Then we went back to the Federal 77 grain with a suppressor as well, and that looks like a 3-round group. That's actually a 5. So I don't know in what order, but there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's 3 in the same hole, 3 in the same hole over here. That flyer was more severe, whereas these had 2 flyers, but all of them furthest end to furthest end, we are at 0.8 MOA for these 5 rounds. Where it gets strange again is right here. This was with some 5.56. This was Black Hills tipped Match King 77 grain, and once again, an egregious 4.35. And then we did some more 5.56, but this right here was with the 77 grain from IMI Systems. And that did 1.3, and I believe that was suppressed as well. These two were both suppressed. It can absolutely shoot really, really well. It just is a little bit of a picky eater. So based off this, I found out that the Federal was shooting the best. So I did 5 rounds of that at 300 yards, and we came up with this pattern right here, which furthest end to furthest end is 2.8 inches at 300 yards. That sneaks just below 1 MOA, and so I was pretty happy to see that. Now we do have a little bit of a benchmark rifle, and that right here is my clone. That's a Mark 12 Mod O clone, and so we shot with that. Now this right here was with the tipped Match King Black Hills, and ignore that, that was not part of it. So we had 2 and then 3 right here. Furthest end to furthest end was 1.45, so the gun was just trying to warm up, I guess. Then right here is the IMI stuff at 1.4. Then we did the same with the suppressor, the Allen Engineering AE-M5. Then it did 1.2 with the Black Hills. Then it did 0.7, so 0.7 MOA with the IMI and the suppressor. So based off this, the best it did was with the IMI 77 grain, and so we brought that out to 300 yards as well. And it put up a 2.9 inch at 300 yards. So it just barely got beat out by 1/10 of an inch by the ATC with the Federal stuff, just so we're clear about the benchmark. So again, guys, that was all yesterday, and I got a little carried away with the groupings and never brought the camera. I apologize, but at least I saved the targets. I went ahead and did some more groupings. I didn't bring the Mark 12 this time, but I just brought out the ATC. We did some more groupings today, and thankfully that was on video, so I could take a little break. All right, let's start off with the Federal Premium. This is the 77 grain Gold Medal Sierra Match King. Oddly enough, I only got 12 rounds left. So here's what I'm gonna do. Of the 12 rounds, 2 of them are from one batch and these 10 are from another. So 2 round groups don't sound too nice, but let's just get the gun warmed up. It's got a cold bore, has not shot today. Let's get it warmed up with the 2 rounds from one batch. And we'll just try a 10 round group with the remaining 10. Let's just get it warmed up, see if we can put 2 pretty close together. Go for bottom left circle. Those don't look too bad. Might be about an inch or just within an inch. I don't think I've ever tried to put pressure on myself to do a 10 round group. Hopefully you guys get a kick out of it. All right, 10 round group. Let's go for the circle on the head. That looks like a pretty great 5 round group from here. That's my first ever 10 round group. You guys say I need to do more groupings, and starting it off with a 10 rounder. Hopefully that's pretty conclusive. For this 5 round group, we're gonna use a Hornady Black 75 grain boat tail hollow point, top right circle. Now we're going to go to a 5.56 chambering. This is the IMI Systems. This is 77 grain hollow point boat tail match. Let's go for the circle on the neck. Those happen to be, just for what it's worth, just under an inch, but that's only 2 rounds. All right, so then we did a 10 round group, and I gotta say, I am not disappointed with that at all. Maybe 1.35 or so for a 10 round group. Hornady, 75 grain, and it doesn't look like it likes this loading too much, based off the fact that we're seeing about just over 1 3/4 for 5 rounds. This is 5 rounds of IMI 5.56, 77 grain. And that's about 1 1/2. 325 yards, and like I said, I wish I had more of the Federal stuff because it's the best performing stuff, but ran out of it. Second best so far out of this gun is the 77 grain hollow point boat tail from IMI Systems, the 5.56 stuff. I got 5 rounds in the mag, 325 yards on cardboard in some pretty decent winds, but hopefully we get a decent grouping. Let's find out. So obviously 3¼ inches would be certainly acceptable, but given this wind, I don't have my expectations set too high. I have no idea what to expect, so you guys are gonna find out with me. All right, guys, welcome to the target for the first time. You guys can see it with me. I see it from here. I gotta say, it looks pretty okay, actually. You know what? I think I'm done with the target. Let's go ahead and move it. That off the bat doesn't look too bad. Let's put it on the table. That was IMI suppressed at 325 yards and decent wind. So anything less than 3 inches is pretty stellar in my opinion. We're looking at just over 2¾ inches at 325 yards. That is in fact subbing away 5 rounds at 325 yards with some decent winds. I hope you guys can hear that. So not to just run on that whole excuse train, but you guys saw those conditions with me. I'm not gonna lie, guys, I'm happy with that, considering also the grouping I was able to do at 300 yards yesterday. All right, guys, I feel like I hardly got to know this gun. All I've been doing is trying to punch patterns in at paper and cardboard. Ran out of the best performing ammo, the Federal, but this IMI stuff seems to be doing pretty good, as you guys saw. So that's what we're gonna do. We're at 686 yards, and we've got a freshly painted target, so let's see if it patterns pretty nicely. Pretty decent winds, so I'd imagine we might get some horizontal spread, but nothing we can't correct. Just lowing, right? Dead on the money. Let's just try to repeat it. That's a close grouping. Okay. I held a little high for that, and it did land a little higher. All right. It definitely would have helped if I kept one consistent point of aim, but we walked it into target, and we're not only getting hits, but it looks like it's grouping, which I like to see at this range, especially for a 223. You can see when that misses right, that dust carries pretty good. I've said this before, it's tough to feel the wind right here just because I got a lot of trees blocking me, but it is in fact blowing down there. So let's just hold left edge. Kind of held a little higher there too. Let's try to double tap it. I like that. How greedy can I get? Let's see. Triple tap maybe? Almost. I think I missed the second one. Try to rush it in. I think I pulled a little bit to the right. This thing's showing some potential though, guys, I'll say. I'm the type of person, I just hate shooting paper. I'll certainly try it just because, you know, I'm making a video on the product. But man, I really don't have a whole lot of fun shooting paper. Let's just aim small. Let's go for some headshots. Just that way we could really dial it in. That might have been right on the neck. Hard to tell. You guys are gonna get a better look through that long distance camera. I keep making the mistake of forgetting mirage cover, so that image starts getting a little bit blurry, but it's still not too bad. I don't know where that landed, but let's just go for center mass. Dang, my ammo goes by fast when you're having fun, I guess. All right, well, that definitely feels good to get away from the cardboard and paper and actually just kind of wait for that delay in steel. That's where this thing comes alive. I gotta say, so far, I'm actually really impressed. Rather than wrapping it up here, let's bring this thing back inside and wrap it up for final thoughts. So in conclusion, I've seen enough of this gun to really impress me, and I have to say I'm a fan of it. It is a little different, a little wacky in a good way, but if you find the winning formula, it seems to want to shoot really, really well. So if we're comparing this to the Mark 12 Mod O build, I would say this one would put up the tightest grouping time and time again if you find the winning formula, whereas the Mark 12 just shot very decently with everything I ran through it. So if you want to take the time, do a little homework, research what this thing eats well, and stick to that, you're gonna have something that seems to be a really, really good performer. In short, I am a fan. I think I'm losing light, so this footage is starting to get dark, and I apologize, but hopefully there's enough shooting to suffice for now. Let me get my hands on some different 223 ammo and 5.56 match ammo, and we'll address this again, maybe on a 5 Plinkers video, and see just how tight we can get that grouping. But for now, that is the first look at my Springfield St. Edge ATC Elite. Let me know what you guys think about it. I promise you won't hurt my feelings. But personally, I kind of dig it. That does it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Take care.